Hello and happy new year. My goodness. Can you believe it? We are in the year 2025 and this is our first episode of the year. Please do me a favor and let me know in the comments. I know some of you are very good. Shout out to Miss Jackie. You always, when you watch, you put a comment in there. Thank you. For those of us that are liking, thank you. But please do me a favor. I'm humbly requesting this of you that in the comment section of this particular episode, let me know how 2024 went for you. All right? Let me know how 2024 went for you. For our subscribers and returning viewers, I know some of you haven't subscribed, but you come in every so often to check us out. I just want to say thank you. Happy New Year to you. If this happens to be the first time that you're coming across this episode, hola, hello. I am Anade and I love to do all things encouraging, equipping, empowering, educating, and entertaining women, and for whoever man that wants to chime in into our conversations. Before we delve into today's episode, I want us to, as always, give a shout out to our production team in the house, Blessed Dream Production and Eyes Have Not Seen. If it wasn't for them, my goodness, you would not be getting these episodes. I just sit here and do that yap, 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 yap. But yapping is not going to get you anywhere. Even there's no one recording, no one is editing, no one is making sure that it actually gets posted, then all the yapping ain't going to get us anywhere. I'm back with myself this year. Anyway, how are you doing in this first week of 2025? I pray that you're doing well. I pray that 2025 has started off well with you. And if you have run into some hiccups or some bumps or even some major crushes of life, metaphorically, I just want to give you a big virtual hug. And we're here to encourage you. We're here to pray with you. Please don't give up on yourself yet, because as long as you have breath, God is not through with you. All right. So I just wanted to let you know that if you have started 2025 on a good note, we're here to say hey, to cheer you on. But I also know that it's not every one of us that is feeling that cheerful and excited, because life does happen. And if that's you on that side of the equation of 2025, big hugs to you. All right. So, what are we talking about on this first day? Today, I have been thinking through the Eating's Gem, this episodes that we bring you. And I realized that as a human being, me sitting here talking to you, I don't particularly like to be told what to do. Am I showing my vulnerability here? I don't really particularly like to be told what to do. I like to be a part of whatever it is that is being discussed and not be told what to do. Even God, in as much as He likes for us to obey His instructions, He gives us the free will to do. And that's why Joshua, when he took over from Moses in the book of Exodus and Joshua, particularly in the book of Joshua, he says this: as for me and my house, this is what we're choosing to do. So, in essence, he was saying, this is the instruction that God is giving. As for me and my house, this is what we are choosing to do. So, I'm giving you the option for you and your house to choose what you want to do. And processing that, knowing the mind of God, that He will give instructions, but He gives us the choice. I like to be asked questions and to ask questions as opposed to make statements for people. It doesn't mean I don't make statements. It doesn't mean, but I find that that is what steers the topics that we pick for the Eating's Gem. That when it's a question, I feel like the person at the receiving end has a choice on what they're going to do with it, right? As opposed to me coming in a statement and I turn the statements and things that I'm learning into questions so that myself and the viewers or whoever comes across this has it in their own ability not to be told what to do, but to take that question and come up with their own answer and their own solution, which makes it very unique for you, for that individual, or for myself. And so most of our episodes will be in a form of a question. And the question is not me saying, what am I, Annette, doing? But it's usually for you to ask that question in the first person level, right? So, this first year episode, the question I want to ask you is, what, instead of me saying, what are you committing to, meaning taking myself out, the question is, what am I committing to? What one thing am I committing to in 2025? So when you read it, it's not a question being asked of somebody else, but it's a question being asked of yourself. What am I? What one thing am I committing to in 2025? Now, how did I come up with this? I love reading research articles. I'm fascinated with psychology, with human behavior, with human biology, and research that has to do with human growth and development and evolvement, right? And a few of the articles that I've read coming in pointed to the fact that, in as much as we make numerous New Year's resolutions or we set multiple goals, research has come to prove, particularly psychological research has come to prove, that when people set multiple goals, they tend not to follow through with it. And so neuroscience had to look at, why is that? Why is it that if I only set like two goals or three goals, it is easier for me to get that accomplished as opposed to if I have 25 goals because it's the year 2025? And what they found is this research information that I'm going to share with you. I cannot give you the sources because I've read many and I've put it together, and this is what I took out of it from both neuroscience research and psychology. It is not something that I woke up and came up with it, so I do not take credit for it. But I also cannot tell you and link you to the direct source because it's multiple research articles that I've read. All right, disclaimer out here. What the first thing that researchers, particularly neuroscience, has found and discovered is this: that it is generally easier to commit to one thing than multiple because the human brain is not designed to effectively handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. What does that mean in a net days term? What it means is that when God created us, He created our brain with a lens that focuses. That to me is how the camera that's looking at me right now, that's how it's created, that's how it's engineered. In order to capture something and project it to someone, there is a lens, and that lens can only focus on one thing. If we turn it and try to capture too many things, what's going to happen? It's going to be a blurry bunch of nothing that we can actually comprehend and get anything off. And for me, the brain is like the camera. Human beings have designed the camera based on how God created the brain. If we try to do multiple things at the same time, we feel like we're multitasking. But at the end of the day, when we print the picture, it becomes a blurry bunch of different things that we can't really clarify and say. Right? So that's the first thing. That's why I'm asking, what one thing? Because research is proving that if we come up with too many things, I want to lose weight, I want to get closer to God, I want to eat better, I want to go to the gym, the brain is like, what exactly do you want me to do right now? Because I am so confused. No wonder by the first quarter, 80 to 90% of our New Year's resolution goes down the drain. But if we say this is the one thing that I'm going to really focus on, high level focus on in 2025, it's easier for the brain to say, remember, this year, this is what you're doing. Remember, this year, this is what you're doing. The brain will keep firing for that. There's four things that the researchers that I've done have come up. The first thing is that when we try to focus on too many things to get it accomplished, there is what I call restrictions, cognitive restrictions. Some researchers called it, or some specialists called it, cognitive limitations. I call it cognitive restrictions. What you do is cognitively, mentally, you restrict the brain from giving you answers. Our brains can only truly focus on one complex task at a time. Even if it feels like we're multitasking, we're actually rapidly switching between taxes. Tax is tax, right? Tax, not taxes. Just like the camera right here, right? If I have a producer behind the camera, if in order for her to capture what else is in the room, she would have to take it off me for a split second, put it somewhere else, but it has to be put back. And that's what multitasking and multi goals and multi trying to achieve does. We're not really necessarily or truthfully multitasking. We're just switching from one to another. And when we keep doing that, it leads us to the next thing, which is decision fatigue. The brain is like, you keep switching me from, I want to lose weight and I'm doing this, and I'm doing, the brain is like, whoa, 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 I'm tired. That's why we're not going to get anything accomplished this year, because it leads to decision fatigue. When juggling multiple commitments, the constant decision making process of which task to focus on can drain our willpower and make it harder to stay committed to any one thing. Number three is what I call limited accountability, right? It's like, okay, so what do you want me to help you with? It's like you call for somebody to come and help you. Okay, so you're my coach, but I want to do this and this and that and that. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's calm down. What exactly do you need help with? Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and you're all over the place and you're like, okay, that's your accountability partner. But if you're not zoned in and focused on what exactly I want 2025 to look like, it leads us to limited or reduced accountability. All right. When you spread your energy across multiple goals, it can be harder to track progress and hold yourself accountable for achieving each one. The fourth thing that I came out, I usually like to do things in fives, but the fourth thing is lack of depth, which makes sense to me. If I am trying to figure out how I'm going to lose weight, how I'm going to get close to God, how I'm going to do this, I only scratch the surface of each one of them. But if I say this year, I'm focusing on getting to another level with God, and my measurement, smart goals, my measuring is that by the end of this year, I would have an in depth knowledge of every chapter of the Bible. I've given my brain, this is what we're focusing on. And so, what the brain will do is every time I get into that zone, it takes me deeper into extrapolating from the Word of God, chapter by chapter. Makes sense so far? Because I like to do things in five, I had to ask myself, what does the Bible has to say? Again, I don't like to be told. I like to ask questions so that I come up with my own solution. What does the Bible have to say about this thing? What that is better to commit to one thing than is better to commit to multiple? And the answer is found in Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Paul, who was able to write a lot, most of the epistles of the New Testament, says this, and I read and quote it from the New Living Translation. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. And it's a beautiful summary of this from a scriptural perspective. That no, I have not achieved it all. I have not obtained everything that I want to obtain, but I'm not going to pursue all of it altogether. But this one thing, I'm going to forget what 2024 or 2023 brought. And I'm going to look into the future from 2026 and beyond. And I'm going to focus on this one thing in 2025 that's going to bring me mastery in the years ahead, in the future. I want to end with this sort of statement framework. I like framework better that I discovered. And again, I just, because I read it in one article, I don't remember exactly. But this is the framework or an equation that this person says it helps them focus on one thing. He says, this statement is what I want you to go in with. And I'm going to say their statement and I'm going to make it applicable to us for the year. All right. Jerry says, write this. During this week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on, put in the day, at, put in the time of day, in, or at, put in the place. Okay. So during the next so and so. So this is what I put down for myself. During this year of 2025, I commit to reading one book a month. And the day that I'm going to do it is I'm going to do it daily. And the time of day that I'm going to do it is right when I wake out of bed after I finish my Bible reading. And the place that I'm going to do it is in my prayer room where I pray and read my Bible. Simple. It gives me accountability as to where and when I'm going to do it. It's very simple for my brain to say, if I forget it, okay, Annette, you can't leave this room yet, because the one thing you've committed to do in the entire 2025 is to read X amount, a chapter, a book for this month. And so if the volume of the book is 30 chapters, then we're going to read a chapter a day. Is that resonating with you? Let me know. I know we want to do different things, but out of all the things that you want to do, what is the priority that if you zone in on 2025 or in 2025, it'll become a game changer for you to lose the weight, get closer to God, and all the other things that you want to do? That one thing is what's going to cement it. And that's what Paul said in Philippians 3:13. I pray this episode blesses you. I pray that it puts you in a place, in a perspective where 2025 starts off well, goes well, and ends well. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next episode.